The sky over the Tiv homeland had been the color of charcoal for 7 long days. In the village of Tyo-Mu, the rain did not fall in drops, it fell in heavy sheets that beat mercilessly against the earth. This was an ancient time, long before modern roads divided the land. The Tiv people were farmers who measured their lives by the soil, the harvest, and the wisdom of their ancestors. Chief Karagbe stood at the edge of the village square. His traditional anga cloth was soaked through and heavy on his shoulders. Mud-walled huts were groaning and collapsing under the weight of the deluge. The river has broken its banks, shouted Tawes, a brave young hunter. The Swam stream is no longer a stream, chief. It has become a monster. If we stay here until morning, the water will swallow us alive. But chief, how do we cross? The water is raging. No canoe can survive that current. Karagbe looked back at his people. We move, the chief said firmly. Or we stay here and perish. Gather everyone, Chief Karagbe ordered, his voice cutting through the roll of thunder. We must abandon the village and move toward the high grounds on the other side of the water. But chief, how do we cross? The water is raging. No canoe can survive that current. Karagbe looked back at his people. We move, the chief said firmly. Or we stay here and perish. The journey to the water's edge was a treacherous march through deep, pooling mud. By the time the clan reached the banks of the Swam, their remaining hope vanished. The peaceful stream was gone. In its place was a violent, rushing brown sea. Massive trees tore past in the current like blades of grass. It is impossible, a woman screamed over the roar of the water. Crashing boom echoed from the forest. The natural earth dam upstream had failed. A massive wall of water was now rushing down the valley directly toward them. Tawe stepped forward, tying a thick rope of twisted vines around his waist. I will try to swim across and secure the line. He dived into the foam. A massive submerged log struck him. The men pulled frantically, dragging Tawe's back to the muddy bank. He was unconscious, bleeding, and gasping for air. As if in answer to their cries, the violent water began to boil and churn. A massive ripple broke the surface and sliced through the waves toward the terrified villagers. A monster, someone shrieked. Out of the depths rose a head as large as a chieftain's shield. Its eyes were a calm, ancient amber. Its scales were vibrant green. It was Ikyarem, the great green serpent of the deep waters. The serpent turned its head toward Chief Karagbe and let out a long, low hiss that calmed the howling wind. It began to stretch across the violent width of the river. Its tail anchored into the rocks of the safe high ground, while its head rested on the muddy bank at the chief's feet. The green snake had laid itself completely across the river, creating a solid, living bridge over the jaws of death. It wants us to cross, Chief Karagbe whispered. If we stay, we drown. The green one is our salvation. The chief stepped onto the serpent's back. The scales were dry, ridged, and provided a firm grip. The snake's muscles flexed, bracing against the brutal force of the river to stay perfectly still. Do not look down, Karagbe shouted. One by one, the Tiv people stepped onto the living bridge. Mothers strapped their babies tightly to their bodies. Every time a massive wave slammed into the serpent, it groaned, its body tensing like iron cables. The water splashed over the villagers' ankles, but the scales held them fast. Halfway across, a panicked youth lost his footing. He slid toward the foaming water, letting out a piercing scream. The serpent arched its midsection and caught the boy. The last of the villagers scrambled onto the rocky crags just as a deafening roar shook the earth. The wall of water finally hit, submerging their old village under 30 feet of water. From the safety of the high ground, the thief people watched in stunned silence. They were alive. Every single soul had survived. Chief Karagbe walked down to the water's edge and knelt in the mud. You have saved the children of this soil. From this day until the end of time, you are our brother. No thief blade shall ever pierce your skin. No thief hand shall ever cause you harm. The serpent dipped its massive head in a slow bow, then submerged beneath the brown water. The storm began to clear, and a sliver of sunlight broke through the clouds. From that day forward, the thief passed down the story of Ikyarem, the green snake that became a bridge.